Hey everyone, so let's dive into a first look at the Cauldron of Carnage in Heroic from the PTR. So this is a very cool boss. It's a big room and it's divided into the gorilla and the dinosaur bosses, and they can never touch or else they become immune to damage. And the third time they do intermission, they basically enrage. So it's a phase 1, phase 2, phase 1, phase 2 type of fight. Let's just tackle the mechanics as they happen. We start on the gorilla side. We do swap sides at the intermission point, so we're just gonna go through the mechanics one by one. The static charge is the gimmick here, and it's this bar over here. And this bar, the way it works is actually very interesting, and every time you move, the bar goes up. Every time you stand still, the bar goes down. If the bar fills in to 100 static, you basically get stunned and take a lot of damage. After that, the boss does the Thundering Salvo or whatever, it's the swirlies. The best way to dodge these swirlies is to just take small steps. They actually can, you don't have to sprint. If your energy, actually, your static here goes actually very high, it's gonna look like this circle and it's gonna cleave people around you. So basically don't let it get to that point, or if you do, make sure you're alone. It's actually not that important as long as you actually stand still after. The way we dealt with this mechanic is basically for swirlies we move, then we stand still immediately after to reset it to 0, then next mechanic comes and we do the same and same, basically non-stop, and that's how we prevent from going 100 energy. Next, we have Lightning Bash. And I believe this to be the tank mechanic, if I'm not mistaken, which basically just deals a lot of damage, and any unmitigated damage basically is given as a magical damage. Nothing too special. Next we have the voltaic images. So these gorilla images, which can will fixate a random player, they will start charging towards that player. Now, in Heroic, you can just stun them, wait for them to run down, and then never put electric pulse under. But we are already practicing something for Mythic, so we are not gonna do the CCing strat. Because in Mythic they actually leave the poop no matter what. If you soak, it explodes and drops a zone. If you let it run out, it will just not do anything, but in Mythic it will. But yeah. Basically what we do here is we try to get the gorillas to come here on the edge. So this is actually a very good moment to pause. Our range players are like that, so that all the poop is on the outer limit of the room. Now, any player can soak that, it doesn't have to be the fixated player only. And obviously that's a mechanic that forces you to move, meaning your static charge will go up. So make sure you really reset your static charge after. These zones on the floor, they actually do damage, and I believe they silence you as well, so don't stand in them, obviously. Now, I think that's pretty much it for the gorilla. You can see us here getting the little small gorillas, and we basically just take them to the position where we want them to be. You do see a gorilla being yoinked by another player there, but so they are grippable and stunnable. At this point, the boss is in intermission, and it's bullet hell, a bunch of swirlies, bunch of waves. They're both fighting. They're not immune to damage, so you can damage them. And this is when we swap the teams. So basically, everyone that was on gorilla goes to dinosaur. Everyone who was on dinosaur goes to gorilla. Let's just call them Torque and Florendo. Actually, the names are so iconic. So for Florendo here, we actually move really ahead of the boss, and we stack against the outer part of the room, and that's to bait the soak. The soak will be on a random player. It went on Frulls here, and you will see that the soak will appear here and not here where we wanted it. This fight is actually pretty difficult when it comes to having enough room for the entire fight, so just keep that in mind. That's a soak that deals damage based on how many people are in it. It has a clock, so it's very easy to see when it goes off, and that's also immunable. So we actually soaked the first one and the third one. The second one we immune because of another mechanic. But meanwhile, the boss is doing this beam, which is pointed at a random player, and you can point any direction. Once it locks on the player, just make sure to move out. This is going to be a soaking. we get knocked, we get also big damage, and now we have waves. And the tank mechanic is this eruption stomp, which basically does big damage on the tank, does waves, knocks the tank in the air, also does fall damage. It's quite a unique mechanic. Yeah, we get another bomb here. Now, right after we soak this bomb, we get a mass spread mechanic for this team. So what we did instead is we bait a good bomb in the poop, and we have an immunity person soak that. Meanwhile, already everyone is preparing to spread. We do dodge the beam, and now everyone's gonna get the phlegm here, aka these big circles, which is a mass spread. And we are gonna bait one last soak. And that last soak, we will be able to soak it as soon as the flame goes off. I think we did have an immunity player here. Yeah. So we could have soaked that, or you can send another immunity. We go again into intermission, and whoever started Torque and did Florendo now goes back to Torque. This is because of a ramping damage buff, or debuff rather, that we take. So basically you don't want to be on the same sides at all times. You could probably find a way to cheese so you don't have to swap, but it's where's the fun in that, right? So this way everyone gets to play the entire fight. Now, this is a pretty long fight because on the PTR this boss was definitely overtuned with HP. The boss is getting damage jumps after each intermission, and after the third one I believe the boss goes berserk. So if I put this a little bit fast forward now on 2x speed, just so we get a feeling of the length of the fight, we do see the monkeys there, we take them out, we dodge the swirlies. Meanwhile, the Florendo team is doing their mechanics. This is what happens right here. If a player goes to the middle of the room, they get both the circle from or mechanics from the other boss and also this boss. So this player actually was a bit too close to the middle, hence why they got this mechanic. So definitely go to the extreme sides of each boss. And then at this point is literally a race against the clock. It is your DPS check. The boss goes into the third charge. Obviously you can see how this fight is going to be very messy and chaotic, and how you can easily get out of room, and then you're at the point where you're actually getting both mechanics from both bosses, or like all mechanics, which is a bit crazy. So this is definitely a fight that you want to kill very fast. If you don't kill very fast, you're going to be left without room, and at that point this will become very interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to show you on the Blood Carnage, or what's this called even? Such an unintuitive name. I believe it was Cauldron of Carnage, that's it. So I'll just call it Torque and Florendo. Florendo is such a good name. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to show you about this boss on Heroic. Just keep in mind this is PTR, so it could change, but I'm gonna dip now, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye bye.